listeners. Welcome to SMQB's episode 271. It's Rooster, Pope, and House coming at you following the world champion Knicks' big victory this weekend.
Yeah, boy.
You're a champion. I mean, and if you're counting Hartford, Connecticut, you're a double champion.
I know it. It's exciting.
The Whalers.
Yeah, the Whalers did it. Guys, let's start out with who you taking to the bar. House, you need a drink.
Yeah, no kidding.
Who are you taking to the bar?
I would like to introduce someone to the SMQB's pod. You are only known to me as Freddie. Freddie.
Yes.
Freddie, you are touring the country right now and probably using social media as well as anyone has ever used social media. You're here to observe the World Cup, and it seems like many of my American friends have taken you all over Louisiana and Alabama and Houston. You're friends now with J.J. Watt, and you've been to the LSU Stadium, you've been to New Orleans, you've been to Fairhope, Alabama. The SMQBs would like to invite you to a bar of your choice. Wherever you may be, we will meet up with you and we will show you a good time. And we can talk all about German soccer. We can talk about American sports, anything you want. If you're not following Freddie LA7 on X, it is the most spectacular account I've seen in the longest time. Freddie, welcome to America. I'd love to have a drink with you along with my friends, Rooster at Pope and Bison at Milk. You name it, we'll show up wherever you are.
The funny thing about Freddie is that he doesn't want you to know what he looks like.
Nobody knows what Freddie looks like.
Nobody knows what Freddie looks like, except for, I guess, those who've actually entertained him. So on X, when he posts pictures of him, like, at the World Cup game or LSU Tiger Stadium or with Mike the Tiger or whatever, Bucky's, he's got that, that
Face
smiley
shield,
emoji.
Yeah.
And then he has, it's Ronaldo, isn't it? Isn't that his emoji head?
Yes, Ronaldo.
And his two other buddies have the little smiley emoji heads.
That's
we want to meet you, Freddie. We won't give up your cover.
All right, Pope. Who are you taking to the bar?
I'm going to take my old buddy, Coach Mauricio Pochettino, who, I came to love at Tottenham in my early days when we started following the Premier League, and took him to the Champions League final, and obviously left there, went on to some success at PSG, and now is implementing his system with the U.S. men's soccer team. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I want to take him to the bar and congratulate him and say, hey, your job's not over yet, but it's a great start. Let's see what you have in plan for Australia and Turkey.
I, at Milk's suggestion, am going to take to the bar the Hurricanes GM, Eric Tulsky, who has a really interesting backstory. He has a BA in chemistry and physics from Harvard and worked in the nanotech field in Silicon Valley for 10 years. He holds 24 patents and is a legit scientist who just started messing around with a hockey blog. He's from Philly, and he did a Philly hockey blog back in 2011 called Broad Street Hockey, and started arguing, making some analytical arguments against the efficacy of, the dump and chase strategy that was pretty popular back then, which was the most boring form of hockey, I think you can imagine, and started arguing in favor of like zone entries approaches to offense. Anyway, started getting jobs as a consultant in the NHL and eventually hired by the Hurricanes and has been their GM for years. But interesting guy, really. I'd love to get to know him a little better and take him for a drink and congratulate him on the Stanley Cup. So before we get rolling, let's just give thanks to our sponsors, Supio, which produces AI for law firms to use in connection with their case management programs, Assembly, which has great case management software systems, including Neos, which is cloud-based, and many of us use it. Injury Board, which is Milk's company, which is the best plaintiffs law firm networking group in the country and includes lawyers from around the world. And finally, Digital Law Marketing, the company that produced our SMQB's website at smqbs.net. You'll hear more about all these companies later in the show, and you can also check them out on our website. So let's talk a little NBA, guys. You know, what strikes you, Pope, now that the series is over and the Knicks are champs? What jumps out at you about that series?
The general consensus was you couldn't win an NBA title without two elite players, possibly three. If you look at the makeup of some of the latest NBA champions. And I was listening to, and this is credit to Bill Simmons this morning, but I was listening to the podcast and they were saying that this team, the story, how they have one player who just carried the team on his back. Obviously, he didn't do it all himself. I mean, OG obviously was huge in Game 4 especially, but Brunson did something that we haven't seen probably since Dirk Nowitzki in 2011 with the Mavericks. Just carried the team on his back, willed them to win, comeback after comeback. A team of resilience. When you look back at it, next year, is this Knicks team going to be favored to win the NBA? No, not at all. But they caught lightning in a bottle, Rooster, to your great benefit, and an amazing run. I mean, I've got a stat for you that'll just blow you away, right? There were 4 comebacks in this series. There were ESPN Analytics had a 91.6% chance of Spurs winning Game 1, up 13 points midway through the third. A 72.8% chance of winning Game 2, up 2 points with 1 minute left in the fourth. 99.6% chance of winning Game 4, up 20 with 9:33 left in the fourth, and a 95.4% chance of winning Game 5, up 10 points with 7:54 left in the fourth. The odds of all of those coming against them were 1 in 237,867,000. That's how lightning struck the Spurs. But all credit to the Knicks. What a great run. And Jalen Brunson in the running for greatest Knick ever, for sure.
What do you think, House?
Well, congrats, Rooster. I think that we had a contest here a few weeks ago. It actually went on for about 8 weeks of the greatest sporting event to attend. And in the end, the NFL Super Bowl won. But if this NBA series, if this NBA championship is any indication, fans were hanging on what seemed like every single play. I mean, every single play was consequential. People were getting upset about every single foul. There were countless reviews by the refs. There was so much tension. Even when the game was seemingly out of hand, whatever game that was, Game 5, Game 4? Game 4.
29 points.
Everything was still like on edge. Everything mattered. And so that was a kind of cool thing about this particular series, about how much attention could go into every single play in a game. But I have to say, I think Game 4 was pivotal, obviously. It's definitely the biggest choke job since the NFL Super Bowl and the Falcons up 28-3 over the Patriots. I don't know that you'll ever see a choke job like it again in basketball, certainly at that stage. A win by the Spurs, which should have happened, like Pope just said, 99.6%, would have brought it to 2-2, and the Spurs would have regained home court advantage. Yes, Rooster is right. Great in our text. Great shooting by the Spurs propelled them to the incredible halftime lead, and the Knicks don't come back without also making the shots. So I don't want to take it away from the Knicks like they didn't do anything. but there was so much shooting in the foot. They had 76 points at halftime and scored a total of another like 30.
30.
No, just 30.
It was 30
points. Okay, so the Spurs had to be god awful.
They had
And
8
I'm
field goals
sorry.
in the second half,
For
4 in each
me,
quarter.
What will stick from this NBA forever? Yes, like you just said, the performance of Jalen Brunson. I mean, you'll never see a most valuable player like that again. You remove him from that, and it's a Spurs demolition.
4-0.
Right? So that you nailed that one. But De'Aaron Fox, and at the end of that game, I put up there with the Chris Webber timeout in the NCAAs. It is that historic of a brain fart, of a brain freeze. It is that historic. Yes, it's not a guarantee. Yes, he's going to go to the line. Yes, it's possible he misses both free throws and they're still only up 1. Chances are he runs more time off the clock. He makes at least 1 free throw, possibly both. And the outcome and the way that game plays out is very unlikely to happen the way it did. By the way, once they kept replaying what happened after that, De'Aaron Fox just kept messing up even after that. Like, not only did
he let OG get to the basket.
Oh my God, he
threw the ball out of bounds a couple times. Yep.
So I'm going to remember Jalen Brunson and De'Aaron Fox, among other things, but those are my top 2.
I'm going to remember OG in Game 4.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, amazing.
My God! But both ends of the court. I mean, if he doesn't hustle when that turnover, went off Bridges' knee, I guess, and bounced into the other side of the court, and Fox gathers it up, it really kind of almost in one motion goes up for the layup. OG hustled and got there for the block. And if he doesn't do that, then it's just game over. It's a layup.
Yeah, that was a great block.
And then if he doesn't hustle after he makes the inbound pass to Brunson and go straight to the basket, and a replay you'll see 1,000 times, for forever, and make that tip in. I mean, OG won that game. You can say Brunson, but OG had more points in Game 4. I mean, without OG, they don't win Game 4.
Thing I'm going to remember most about this series is the Knicks just are relentless. They fight to win every play. They don't take any plays off. And, sure, a lot of people, a lot of analysts are going to cite the statistics that Pope led with and say the Spurs dominated the overall time period. If you add up all the time of all 5 games, the Spurs dominated for the majority of the time. But you know what the Knicks dominated? They dominated the final score in 4 games out of 5.
And the fourth period.
And they dominated the fourth quarter in almost every game. The Spurs are immature. They panic. They are intimidated. They were intimidated by the Knicks. And I have to say, Wemby, what an amazingly dirty player. I think he's a dirty, whiny little bitch. And
I mean, what a turnaround for you, Rooster. You were on Wemby's jock a couple weeks ago.
I think he's an amazing talent. I think he, before he goes running down the court telling Mitch Robinson, I'm in your head and all this other stuff, maybe he should get himself into shape and be able to finish out a game. Remember when Embiid got all that crap for being out of shape and not playing well in fourth quarters of playoff games? Wemby gets a free pass on all of this. And the refs,
No, he doesn't.
The refs treat him like he's freaking Michael Jordan. He gets every call. They don't call anything against him. It's ridiculous. I just think he got what he deserved, and the refs were god awful. I mean, and despite Rooster, all that, the Knicks got the gentleman's sweep.
What are the chances that the Knicks would win with Cat basically disappearing because of foul trouble during the games that mattered?
Right.
You take Cat out of the mix, you're like, there's no way the Knicks are going to win these games. It's just, Wemby, you're right. It's resilience. It's just, they just didn't ever give up, even when the odds were extremely high against them coming back.
Wemby has to hit the gym. Rooster's right. Wemby has to hit the gym. I was shocked how he was manhandled by some of the Knicks, some of the much smaller Knicks.
Yeah.
Wemby has to hit the gym. We haven't seen the last of Wemby yet. I think his ceiling is even higher than Embiid's. I was shocked how many missed free throws he had in the fourth quarter, which I agree with Rooster also came from fatigue. But Rooster, to your point about relentlessness, and I'm not just saying this about being a homer because there were quotes and comments. So much of that came from Jay Wright.
Right.
These guys all said, these Nova Knicks, these Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, they're like, Coach said, don't freak out. There's going to be tough situations. Coach Wright said this, not Coach Brown. Coach Jay Wright said, just keep coming at them. Just keep coming at them. And they were instilled with a relentlessness collectively that drove that team.
I'm sad that DiVincenzo was not on this team. I
sure
think
he
that
is
would have
too.
been awesome. That would have been so
no
awesome.
kidding, right?
Yeah.
I think Pope is also right. I mean, take the parade and enjoy the spotlight. With Tatum healthy, with Halliburton healthy.
The Celtics just made an offer to the Bucks for Giannis.
Yeah, for Giannis. I think it's going to be really, really tough to run it back, as it is with any sport and any champion. I think it's going to be particularly tough. But I don't like these statements that are being, that some of the pundits are saying that the Knicks are one of the lightest champions. That's ridiculous. That is a ridiculous statement. The run that they went on,
15 and 1.
Brunson is beating Wemby. I don't care that he's young. Beating the team that took out the defending champion.
Right.
Do not sell the Knicks short. They
held the Spurs to 90 points in Game 5.
They closed out 4 of their series on the road.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yep.
An amazing run. I mean, we may not see anything like that again for a long time. It was fun.
There's a lot of talk about is Brunson the greatest Knick of all time? And frankly, I think he needs another championship to match Walt Frazier. Walt Frazier has 2 in order to hold that title. So it'll be interesting, and I think they're going to have to make some. They just win the championship, and I'm saying this, but I think they need to make some changes for next year. You can't have Mitchell Robinson as your second center when he just cannot make a free throw. He's going to either have to learn to make a free throw or he's going to have to be the third string center.
Enjoy it. Enjoy the victory lap for a long time. You get to do this for 365 days. I squeezed every drop until the Eagles had to give up the Super Bowl to somebody else. Until next year's NBA champion, the Knicks are it.
How lit is New York going to be on Thursday for that parade?
It's going to be crazy.
Why are these? The Carolina parade is Saturday. The Knicks is Thursday. What's up with that? Why are they waiting?
I don't know. It may be that the NYPD is asking them to get ready,
just to get ready, and maybe in Raleigh they don't want to to make people take a time off work. Who knows?
All right, sorry.
You're good, Rooster.
Yeah, I'm just responding to my son. All right. Anything else on the Knicks Spurs series? Mr. Brunson did score 45 of our 94 points last game. That just shows you how
insane,
awesome he is.
Yep.
If you go back and watch some of the video of Rick Brunson running Jalen Brunson almost into the ground as a child, and just preparing him for this moment. Sometimes people criticize those like relentless sports parents. I think Rick Brunson, I know he's had some issues along the way, but I think Rick Brunson must feel pretty unbelievable for what he turned Jalen Brunson into.
Yeah. Did you hear Jalen refer to his dad as a journeyman player in the post-game show?
Kind of true.
He's actually a funny guy. Let's move on and talk about the Stanley Cup. I unfortunately missed that last game. House, what's your thought on the Canes' first time cup in the last 20 years?
Well, it's funny. I said at the end of the pod, I think it was just a buzzer at the end of last week, that the Canes had found some kind of hole in the armor of Carter Hart, and the replacement goalie, Bussi or whatever his name was,
Bussi,
was the lucky charm. Not just luck, his skill. That was it. Bussi, that changed the series. He was incredible. They got into Hart's head. Talk about relentless. They kept coming and coming and coming at that net. The more skilled team won. The Canes were the better team. The Vegas was playing, it's funny. I had said to you guys in the prep, there's been this weird thing over the last, I didn't actually look at the numbers of how many times the East has won relative to the West in the last several years. Pope, I don't know if you got a chance to look at that, but the East is definitely, when you count,
the East is dominating.
When you count Tampa, you count Florida, now Carolina, and Washington had one in there. There was really only an interruption a couple times from
with the Avs, or the Avs the last one for the West?
I think this grittiness of the East compared to the speed and finesse of the West, which is mostly what we'll have to get the commentary from Moose on this too. I don't know. I'm not the hockey expert that Moose is, of course. To me, it's a very smart, technical, gritty game in the East that has led them to dominate over a very finesse, speed, like insane speed of the teams from the West. You got to give it to Rod Brind'Amour, the Canes coach. They also had a really, really impressive run, and their backs were up against the wall. Vegas started out, it was like, okay, this is going to be some shock. And Carolina, they dug in. They had that incredible overtime win. They switched goalies, and hats off to the Carolina Hurricanes. That is one very, very good hockey team. That team, even though they have some age in that team, Stahl and a couple other players, there's another guy, Taylor Hall. That team could be there for a while, because they also have some young talent that's incredible.
Jordan Stahl's the oldest Conn Smythe winner.
Wow.
That to me, that series turned in, I think it was game 3, when they came back after they're down 4-0 going into the third, and they tied it, and then they lost in double overtime. They did lose, but, I think they sent a message to Vegas that they weren't there to mess around. And that is when they changed goalies too, after the third period, or after the second period. And I think that was the turning point. And then Canes really didn't look back from then. They ran the table.
I know that the big markets aren't as dominant as an issue in the NHL. I mean, you have teams like Pittsburgh and Jersey Devils and Carolina, and after all, the Florida Panthers are in like Sunrise, Florida. But these stories of like Carolina and the smaller markets, these are good for sports. These are really, really good, that you can win sports championships without being New York or Boston or Chicago or LA.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get on to the game that may have shocked the world today in the World Cup. Spain drawing with Cape Verde. Who saw that coming? Nobody.
Did you guys do your geography lesson yet of where Capo Verde is?
Well, yeah, it's out in the ocean where hurricanes form. That's what it's known for, is the Cape Verde hurricanes that come in all the way through the Caribbean and hit Florida. I didn't realize they even had a soccer team.
Yeah, it's a bunch of islands that together make. I didn't even know this. They have got like 8 tiny little islands, or 9 or something, and one's uninhabited, and the other. The entire nation is 500,000 people. And somehow they sent a team to the World Cup, and somehow that team just went to a scoreless draw against the powerhouse that is Spain. Holy crap. And somehow a 40-something-year-old goalie made 16 or 17 saves.
That goalie was playing out of his mind.
So do you guys have the fever yet? You guys have World Cup fever?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It's great. It's great.
Got the fever. I mean, I had it on today doing work. I mean, Egypt and Belgium. I'm all in. What's going on?
Great. It's so great.
I didn't see that game. Did Mo Salah play?
Yeah. Mo Salah played well. He ended up coming off in like the 71st, 72nd minute, but he played well. Egypt played really well. Belgium looked like at the end after Belgium tied 1-1, and after they got the tying goal, it looked that they were going to pour it on, and just Egypt held them off. Again, there's a big difference in overall talent between Belgium and Egypt. It's another, right now, one of the big winners of the World Cup is the African nations.
Ivory Coast.
The Ivory Coast, Capo Verde, Morocco tying Brazil.
Yeah, wow.
Egypt tying Belgium. I mean, these are all huge ties. I mean, yes, Tunisia lost. South Africa's bad. But overall, the African nation are here to play. The African countries are here to play.
Tunisia lost and fired their coach after the first game.
That story is wild. What the coach did. Like, he was trying out things for the first time they had never practiced, they had never used in warm-up games. He was just like this mad scientist in that game, and they're like, okay, we're not doing it.
So what would you compare the Spain Cape Verde upset to?
God.
Well, what were the rankings going in? World rankings.
The FIFA rankings technically was either 64, 67 for Capo Verde and 2 for Spain. So
there's only 48 teams in the World Cup. So in other words, they were outside of that.
Outside of that. If I remember right, in 2022, there was that crazy upset. I think Josh talked about it on the pod last week, where Saudi Arabia beat Argentina. I think that was the team that Saudi Arabia beat. It would be of that kind of crazy, unfathomable upset. Now, naturally, this is a draw, so they didn't beat Spain, and Spain's fine. And I think, again, to the point that we were talking about last week, since 32 of the 48 teams are going to go through, I think there are going to be a number of teams that end up having 0 points. Even when you get a draw, you're in a good position. In most of these groups, you remember, you get 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw. If you come away with 3 points, you're probably moving on. Spain needs 1 win in a week. I think they've got like New Zealand and some other garbage team remaining.
Speaking of 3 points, how about the U.S. men? Let's go with that.
Woo!
Flow, baby.
Flow! Holy mackerel. That looked like a real deal soccer team. Like a real, like, Premier League, like a real international superstar soccer team. And
crisp passing, triangles. I mean, it was something I've never seen for the U.S. International play before.
Yeah, apparently Poch set up this thing that was actually a pentagon. So he set up, like, between the midfielder and the offensive forwards, a constant 5-way that the ball could be moved in any direction. And it really confused a Paraguay team that was excellent. Everybody kept, like, on social media, Twitter, all that stuff, everybody was saying, oh, is Paraguay actually bad? Should we not get ahead of ourselves? No, Paraguay let up 6 goals in the qualifications against South American teams and outplayed teams like Argentina and Brazil and had an incredible run through South America. That was a great team. Not great. That was a very good team that we dominated.
Yeah. And Josh was really prescient when he said that it's good to have Rainier come in off the bench. Man, did that guy put a spark into the offense as soon as he got in.
That was a great call. And the other really, he introduced, I think, our audience and some of us. He said he's not a household name, but pay attention to Malik Tillman.
Mm-hmm.
Holy mackerel. He had an incredible game.
He did.
So, I don't know. The Australian game becomes this Friday. The Australian game becomes a really big one because if Australia, let's see if I get this right. If we beat Australia and Paraguay beats Turkey, anyway, we could win the group we could win the group by beating Australia with a game in hand and be the leader. That would do so much for how Pulisic is feeling and just resting our players and getting ready for the next round. So this Australia game becomes a huge one on Friday.
And I mean, they drilled Turkey, so
also a surprise.
That was a big surprise.
Big surprise. Glad they did, but big surprise.
When is that game, House, for our listeners? The next US game.
The US game is Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern against Australia. So get your permission slip to get out of work a little bit early.
Oh, a little Friday happy hour.
Friday happy hour. Get yourself one of those Coors 250 that's 250 feet long and enjoy the USA.
Find a good sports bar for getting a little U.S. Soccer going.
What's the story on Pulisic? Is his calf better?
I think he's fine. I think, it's interesting. Some of this is a little bit of gamesmanship. He's saying he'll be there. He might not be 100%. Got kicked in the calf. He's saying, I don't know if I'm going to be okay. The coach says he's fine. The guy that's like the Adam, if our listeners don't know Fabrizio Romano, you need to get introduced to him. He's the Adam Schefter of international soccer, or whatever, the insider. Fabrizio has all the rundown on any player movement, he gets the scoop. Fabrizio says he's fine. He said, don't worry. So he talked to somebody that gave the scoop. So when I heard that from Fabrizio, I felt a little bit better.
All right. Anything else on World Cup?
I mean, every game is worth watching. It is if you get the fever, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, France, Senegal tomorrow, right?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. Senegal's got a real team.
I mean, teams like Japan were entertaining as hell.
That was a great game.
Yeah.
That's been the game of the tournament. The Japan-Netherlands game was the game of the tournament so far. Talk about a relentless team, a team that will not give up. That Japanese team is fun to watch. They will not give up on a game.
Right.
And then another game tomorrow, Argentina-Algeria. So we finally get to see the defending champs and Messi play. Tomorrow's a big day.
Stars are coming out.
All right. Good deal. Let's move on to punchable face. Who's got a punchable face of the week? All right, go for it.
I guess I don't have any.
Go for it. Please don't punch Wes.
I am so angry. No, we love Wes. I'm going to punch Chrome for our technical difficulties today, but there's a lot of great things happening with World Cup. But FIFA, come on. This is the people's game. Don't commercialize it. One of the great things about watching soccer, it's the one sport. You turn it on for 45 minutes. You go have a bathroom break for halftime. You turn it on for another 45 minutes. It's over. No. Now FIFA has hydration breaks.
Oh,
who cares? Who cares if it's 75 degrees and it's an indoor stadium? If it's over 80 degrees, there should be a discretionary hydration break. If you need it, have it. If you don't need it, don't do it just for a commercial. You guys have got to see the graphs in the games played so far on the momentum changes. The momentum changes these are affecting the games, these hydration breaks. And it's all artificial. They do it about 23 minutes into each half, halfway through each half. Bad. I also don't I get it. This is so ironic, but if you want to know what a money grab FIFA is doing, they've stripped every identity off of every branding all over these stadiums, all over any commercialization. Everything has to belong to FIFA. The game in Philadelphia was not played at Lincoln Financial Field. The game in Atlanta was not played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. They're all played at FIFA Philadelphia, FIFA Atlanta. the commercialization of FIFA is punch number one. Also related to World Cup punches, did you guys know that the fans that desperately wanted to come overseas and watch their team play from Senegal and the Ivory Coast could not come? Because in the political BS that's happening these days, that everybody's upset about, they made a decision that there were no visas allowed, even for temporary travel visas. There was no temporary visits from Senegal or Ivory Coast. There were ways of managing that. They deprived a lot of people once every 4 years, hearts broken of real soccer fans because they're caught up in the middle of silliness. Massive punch for that. Massive, massive punch. Do you guys
That's
have
two.
one?
How many more?
I think you had three more.
I have.
I also heard from our friends who went to the game in Houston, the Germany game, that the lines were ridiculously long to get in, and the fans were chanting F FIFA for 45 minutes and then rushed the gates eventually and just burst in without any security.
That's
Doesn't surprise me.
not good.
Um,
What about ticket prices, House? Can we
ticket
punch
price.
somebody
That was
for
another
that?
part of this. That was another part of this. I mean, they're not allowing ordinary fans to come in, and they're basically costing them their life savings to watch a group stage match. I mean, the entry price still is anywhere from $1,400 to $1,800 into any of these stadiums.
Right.
They're saying,
Like tomorrow at Jerry World for the England-Croatia game, the get in, which is the nosebleed of the highest at Jerry World, is over $1,600. I mean, I think that's an artificial market, House. Can you explain
of
it?
course, no. I mean, it is an artificial market. And FIFA, again, they monopolize this. They work with the resellers. And I really think it seems like the tickets are being bought because I'm not seeing empty seats. But I think FIFA has made the decision that if tickets don't sell, it's a business cost. You know, they'll write it off in some way. But they're not going to let these prices slip. It's just really bad. You know, if you're just an ordinary soccer fan that wants to check out a real World Cup game, you're not going to get a chance to do it. It's a tournament for the rich. Guys, I know we try really hard to keep politics as much as possible out of this pod. I'm sorry. We're a sports pod. The octagon does not belong on the White House lawn.
It's not a sport.
The shit that
Gladiators.
I saw playing out on what is hallowed ground, what is the people's house, was obscene. And we would be cowards if we didn't punch that. That was ridiculous. And I really hope that circus is taken down. There's been a rumor that, you know, maybe they'll keep it up. No. Can we please end this little stunt that happened? There were some UFC fighters that they themselves came out and said, yeah, I'll participate in a fight because I'm a UFC fighter, but we should keep politics out of our own sport. Like, this is not what we should be doing here. So yeah, that thing happened last night. I was very upset.
Did you actually watch it?
No, I saw the clips. Clips.
Yeah. I don't know anyone who watched it.
I'm not going to do a full punch. It'll be a slap, and you'll be mad, Rooster, because I'm from Philadelphia. I have to believe you are not very happy with some of the behavior of the Knicks fans during this NBA final. I mean,
example. What? Give me an example.
Sending a 17-year-old kid wearing a Spurs jersey into a coma in a hospital where he still is because he was wearing a Spurs jersey.
I didn't hear that.
I mean, if you were a Spurs fan and decided to wear a jersey in New York, you were an endangered species during this finals. And so I'm not talking about the people inside Madison Square Garden. I'm not talking about those fans. I'm talking about the fans who are just out on the streets and decided that the finals and the Knicks being in the finals was an opportunity for hooliganism. There are a lot of stories out there about it. They destroyed Bryant Park. They just went nuts. And come on, like, let's have a good time. And let's I get it. Yes, we're Boris fans in Philadelphia. I get it, but it should never get to the point where you're beating the crap out of the opposing fan.
There's no place for that in sports.
No excuse for that thuggery.
All right. Pope, do you have a punch?
Well, I mean, I was going to punch on the ticket prices, so House got that.
All right, good. Well, it's fitting time for us to move on to our Ted Lasso segment, where we if we have a lasso, which is like a feel-good story that we named after the show. Who has a lasso? I've got one.
You go first.
Well, I'm going to give a lasso to Karl Anthony Towns and Jeremy Lin. I don't know if you saw this, but Cat said in one of the post-game shows that he became a Knicks fan because of Linsanity and loved Jeremy Lin, and was just overwhelmed by the fact that Jeremy Lin, before the championship series, released a video of him buying a Karl Anthony Towns jersey, saying he was a big fan of Karl Anthony Towns. And, it was like practically brought Cat to tears, just that his idol was buying his jersey. It was a nice story. And, Lin's a cool guy, smart guy, really create. Well, last time there was this much excitement in New York, it was Linsanity. And it's fun to see.
That's a nice part about when championships finally come to a team that you can't believe, like all these games that John Starks has been sitting at.
Yeah.
He didn't get a title.
Right.
That's feel good for those players that this kind of belongs to them too.
Yeah. Bernard King and Patrick Ewing were at every game. Larry Johnson was at most of them.
Those are feel good.
The old guys were too. Bill Bradley was there.
Yeah, he was in a box. Yep. Did you see the photos circulating about the last time the Knicks won in '73? Phil Jackson was on the team, and he looked like. You see the pictures of Phil Jackson, this skinny dude with a beard.
Bro,
it was funny. But yeah, no, I was 11, and I've been waiting ever since. So it was awesome.
I have
one.
Oh, go ahead. You go. No, you go.
So this week, Bud Cauley won his first PGA Tour event. He's 36 years old, but what made it even more special was he was catastrophically injured in an accident at the Memorial Tournament 8 years ago. Broken ribs, collapsed lung, broken leg. They didn't think that he would ever be able to play golf again. It took him 6 years just to get back to the point where he can go back on the tour. What a great story of perseverance. And to get your first win at 36, that was a true lasso.
I want to give a lasso to the combination of the Japanese fans and Jameis Winston.
Yes. Yes.
Who would have thought Jameis Winston would get a lasso?
He's not at voluntary camp because he's cleaning up stadiums.
This happened 4 years ago. I love this story. It's not actually just the Japanese fans, it's the Japanese team too. Their culture is you clean up after yourself and you leave a room or whatever spot that you're in, you leave it tidy. And so after a stadium with thousands of fans are over, these fans are in the stands cleaning up after themselves, taking out the trash themselves from the stands. And Jameis Winston said, hey, this is a pretty beautiful thing. I'm going to get in on this too. And there was Jameis with the Japanese fans cleaning up. Not only that, the Japanese players decided to clean up their own locker room. So when they left the locker room, it was spotless. They didn't leave it for the custodians to do it. They cleaned it up themselves. I mean, I don't know if it falls into a lasso category, but it's pretty feel good when a culture is that respectful.
The fans show up with two bags, one for recycling and one for trash.
And you got to assume that the Dutch left a lot of shit. They like to party, and I'm sure there was lots of empty stuff.
Our pod plays over in Amsterdam, so I don't want any of our Amsterdam fans to think that was a commentary on the entire culture.
No, I love the Dutch.
He's wearing orange. Pope is wearing orange, so please.
I love all
they've
people
been the best
except the
so
Dutch.
Far. that
Remember
Dutch
that?
bus. They were in Dallas. Well, they were in Arlington, but at Dallas Stadium. I mean, just to see the crowd of orange, massive crowd of orange surround that Dutch double-decker bus. That came actually over from from the Netherlands by ship, and it docked. Yeah, it came over by ship. It docked in Galveston, and so they took the bus off the ship, and they've been driving up. They went to Buc-ee's. It made it went viral when they went to Buc-ee's.
That was an Austin Powers joke, by the way. I don't hate the Dutch.
So can I do
Right, it was Austin's
do you guys have
dad.
any other lassos? Because I have a lasso that segues into a buzzer.
Go ahead.
I want to give a lasso to Sir Lewis.
Yes.
Sir Lewis Hamilton. I don't know what you want to compare him to, the Jack Nicklaus, the Tiger Woods, the Babe Ruth. He is the best, in my opinion. He's the best to have ever done the sport of F1. He's a good person. And folks wrote him off just a little too early. He left Mercedes, was thought to be the secondary driver for Ferrari. And this past weekend in Barcelona, after 686 days, 2 years from his last victory, the best driver who had been written off to ride off into the sunset and enjoy his retirement finished no other than first place for Ferrari. And you'd think that if someone's going to finish first for Ferrari, it's likely to be Charles Leclerc. But Lewis has been driving great this year. He's taken that team to where they've needed to be. And another nice part of the story is Lewis left Mercedes, which is dominating this year. And you might think he's feeling like a little jealous, like maybe I could have still gotten some wins or a lot of points if I had stayed with Mercedes. But he made a commitment to Ferrari, which he's loved his whole life. And this past weekend in Barcelona, he won it. So there's a lasso and a big applause to you, Sir Lewis.
And he cut Kimi's lead by 25 points.
Yes.
We got a driver championship race.
So that's your buzzer / lasso.
All right. Well, let's see if we have any more buzzers. Pope.
I have a buzzer. I'm actually wearing a U.S. Open shirt from the last time they were in Pinehurst. So we'll be talking very quickly the U.S. Open, and there's two main stories to me. One is Scotty's going for his career Grand Slam. Rory got it last year at Augusta. Scotty's trying to do the same, but he's not playing right now to form. He's only got one win this year, and he's having some issues putting. And the other main story, and I think it's going to take more precedent as the week goes by, is Shinnecock Hills, arguably one of the toughest U.S. Open venues. There's only been 3 players to finish under par in the 5 U.S. Opens that have been held there. Raymond Floyd won in 1986 at -1. Goosen won in 2004, -4, and Phil was -2 that year. Last time it was there, Koepka won. It was +1. The weather looks like it's going to be sunny, not much rain. The winds are going to be blowing, and the big issue is U.S. Open, USGA going to be able to control the greens, because Shinnecock is famous for it when letting the greens get out of control. I expect that the winning score is going to be over par. I think they're going to make it really tough. Your top tier players are Rory, Rahm, Scotty, Matt Fitzpatrick, and I think Cam Young is going to have a huge following, being a New York boy. I like to see Cam Young get his first major. I think he's ready. What do you guys think?
I love when it's at a venue where the course is one of the stars. I think you're right. I think Shinnecock is going to be the star. In a course like that, when the course is a star and you gotta avoid making mistakes, a lot of times it's the players that are the leaders of strokes gained. From if you're off the fairway, if you're in trouble and you're gaining strokes by, great short game, just great shot making. So I haven't kept up with strokes gained leaders this year, but if I had to do my homework and my research, the first thing I'd go to for Shinnecock this week is to see who are your strokes gained leaders because those are the people that I'm going to put my money on for Shinnecock this week. Yeah, you're going to see the Scotties and the Rorys and all that stuff. And I do think probably one thing that I love about the US Open is that we're always treated to normally a very, very strong leaderboard. You're not going to get like the no names. I would be surprised if we get a no name here at Shinnecock. You got to have a crafty player who knows how to manage a course.
I think you'll see an Aaron Rye just come out of nowhere.
Right, exactly. Or a Bud, whatever his call him.
Right. I think he's content with his victory last week.
I have a quick buzzer. It's an update on this Brendan Sorsby matter.
God.
Oh boy.
God, I was going to punch somebody there.
The Big 12 filed a lawsuit against Texas Tech and Attorney General Ken Paxton, basically wanting to confirm its authority to sanction Texas Tech if it plays Sorsby this year. And part of the lawsuit threw out the possibility of banning Texas Tech from the playoffs if they make it, or the championship game. And there's some pretty strong statements in there, which I know we all agree with. You just can't be playing a guy who bet on his own team, for or against his own team, while he was at Indiana. That's just unheard of to allow that in any sport. So anyway,
I think that's one of those. Yeah, watch the
open
space
on this,
because you're going to have an intersection of the court system and regulatory with NCAA. What's going to happen in the different conference like Big 12?
Yeah. It'll be
another
interesting.
Update on our buzzers is we're now into a few days into the College World Series.
Yeah.
Six of the 8 remaining teams are still alive. Georgia, Oklahoma, North Carolina, West Virginia, Texas, and darling Troy, who knocked out Ole Miss, are still alive. Good luck to our listener, Mr. B, Brandon Smith, and his buds, who are about to watch Georgia take on who is it
Texas.
tonight that they have Texas
tonight.
It's always fun, that double elimination tournament. It's great baseball. It's just different than watching Major League Baseball. There's so much more spirit. It's the college environment, and Omaha is such a great setting for it. So catch the College World Series.
Yeah. All right.
It's going to be a great sports weekend. Man, there's just so much good stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Could use a break tonight.
You're not getting a break. There's more soccer.
I know.
Yeah, who we got, House? Who we got tonight?
Tonight is, I think, a little less of stars out there tonight. I'll tell you what we got left. We've got Saudi Arabia and Uruguay, who are underway right now. And then you've got 9 p.m. Iran versus New Zealand, who are the 2 remaining teams that Spain, they're in Group G. Belgium, Egypt, Iran, New Zealand. What Spain has left now are Saudi Arabia and Uruguay. These are Group H and Group G going off today.
And France has not played yet. They play tomorrow?
France tomorrow, 3 p.m. against Senegal. Argentina tomorrow. Iraq versus Norway. You get to watch Holland tomorrow. So tomorrow's another really fun day of great soccer.
To me, the biggest one yet is England-Croatia at Jerry World on Wednesday.
That'll be Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, England, Croatia.
Yeah. All right.
All right, guys. Go
Good
USA.
show, guys. It's a wrap.
Go USA.